Hello everyone, welcome to my channel again. Today is time for doing another test. I'm charging at this 50 kilowatt charger just outside Munich in a small town called Putzbrunn. So it's a 50 kilowatt charger from the town basically. So let's have a look at how much I charged. It's a bit hard to see in this screen, so I'm at 99%. Alright, the plan today is to do a range test and also a degradation test. I'll drive to Augsburg just like before the previous degradation test and come back to Munich. In the previous degradation test, I found out that I had 1.4 or 1.5% of degradation, and the weather at that time was quite bad. It was -4 degrees Celsius. And today it's about 12 to 13 degrees Celsius. It's quite warm. And last time I drove 90 kilometers per hour for the whole distance. But today I will do a bit more realistic test because I'm also doing a range test. I will try to drive at a speed of 130 kilometers per hour whenever I can. I think there are some construction zones, so I might need to slow down, and I will probably also need to take some breaks. So I expect in the end the speed would be something around 110 or something like that. So in that sense, I actually don't know what is the summer or let's say spring range for if you maintain 110 kilometers per hour. When I did the 110 kilometers per hour in the winter, when the temperature was -6 or something like that, it was 235 kilometers. The other thing is that now I have this Scan My Tesla app, so I can really measure the percentage accurately. Last time I was just looking at the percentage from the car, so you don't get the fractions here. Alright, I'm still charging. It's sort of stuck at 100%, and as you can see, it's still pulling like 1 kilowatt from the charger. As this is happening, let me show you some other useful information. So, interesting things to look at here is that how much I DC charged. I'm sorry about the contrast here. It's really sunny here, so it's hard to get good quality video here. Anyway, so as you can see, the DC charging is quite high, so I DC charged quite often. It's 13 kilowatt hour, and AC charging is 921 kilowatt hour. And then more interesting things are here. So right now it claims, the battery management system claims that I can pull 49.9 kilowatt hour, and then you have energy buffer of 2.2 kilowatt hour. So you have to deduct this from the nominal pack to get the usable amount of battery. So this is 47.7 kilowatt hour. So according to the battery management system, I can pull 47.7 kilowatt hour. So we don't really need to do a test, but the real world scenario often is different. So it really depends on the weather and how fast you're driving, all that sort of thing, how much you can actually pull from the battery. And the other interesting thing is here, as you can see, the full pack when it was new, it was 52.4. That means that if we deduct this 2.2 kilowatt hour of buffer, when it was new we had let me just get this picture again, we had about 50.2 kilowatt hour usable battery. So yeah, so today we will see how much we can pull and then divide it by 50.2. That will give us an indication of the degradation. And here it already says that my battery has degraded 5.15%. Yeah, so let's see how it is when we finish the test. Here I just have a good news. Okay, So finally it says it has finished charging, and it's showing 365 kilometers. Last time it was showing 367 kilometers, so some degradation has happened. So now I will unplug and I will get going. All right, I started driving. I just drove, let me just march to the, I just drove like 1.5 kilometer, and now I'm marching to the highway. So yeah, I'm at 99.4%. My regen is really weak. That was a bit dangerous. I did not realize, but anyway, we drive now, I don't know, let's say for an hour or so, then I take a break. I got stuck in a construction zone. The consumption is quite encouraging. It's 162 watt hours per kilometer. I drove 16 kilometers actually, and I'm at 94.7% and 161 watt hours per kilometer. Let's see how long is this construction zone, then I will speed up. I am in a traffic jam now, a stau. Too bad. I drove 37.7 kilometers. My consumption is 152 watt hours per kilometer. I'm at 88% state of charge. 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes later, I'm still stuck. There are some emergency vehicles passing by, so for sure there is something wrong ahead, an accident or something, I guess. Yeah, so when I stopped I had 88% and now it's 87.8%. Yeah, so every time I'm trying to do this degradation test, something goes wrong. If you remember last time, I got stuck in a Rasthof, a rest house beside the Autobahn. So let's see how long it takes to clear up, and depending on how much we spend standing stationary, I will have to readjust the calculations. All right, we started moving. I am at 87.4%, so I lost 0.6% just standing stationary. Yeah, here is the incident. I'm not so sure what happened. Let's see. Well, it's not an accident, it just got stuck. I drove exactly 80 kilometers. I started exactly 1 hour ago. It's 13:53 and I started at 12:53, which means that my average speed is 80 kilometers per hour, which is quite low on the Autobahn. It's because of that traffic jam. Anyway, the consumption is 166 watt hours per kilometer, which is quite good. I am at 71.8% state of charge, and I'm trying to drive at 130 kilometers per hour. There's a lot of traffic, so sometimes I have to slow down, sometimes I have to pass a car, so I have to speed up. Yeah, so it's just real world driving. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do, just to see how much I can go, how far I can go, I should say, in these kind of weather conditions. Speaking of which, the temperature right now is 17 degrees Celsius. It's a bit windy outside, but it's quite warm. Yeah, so we are going to turn around in, let me just see, yeah, probably in like 7 kilometers or so. Let me just check. Yeah, actually 6 kilometers. Yeah, we are just turning around in a charging stop, in a charging location. It's a Ionity charging location, and then we get back to Munich, but not the same way. We go south from Augsburg and then turn basically east from there. Alright, I arrived at the Ionity charger with 70.3% state of charge. Now I'm gonna turn back. Let me just show you the way. So we drove from here to here, and I don't know if you can see. So this is Munich basically. So we started somewhere from here, we drove this way, we are here right now, and now I'm gonna go south. And then from here I will just turn back this way back to Munich. So I cannot really go directly this way with this navigation because yeah, it just tries the most optimized path, and it goes to Munich via the same way we drove here. So I navigated to an intermediate place, and as you all know, you still cannot add waypoints in Tesla navigation system. Anyway, another topic. So I will go to this point, and then from there I will navigate back to Munich. And this point, up to this point, it's 71 kilometers. I arrived here with 70%, as I was saying, and the consumption so far is 159 watt hours per kilometer, and I drove 88.2 kilometers. I am at 50% state of charge. I drove 142.9 kilometers. That means I should have at least 285 kilometers of range. About my consumption so far is 165 watt hours per kilometer. Yeah, I have to drive 61 kilometers more to get back to Munich. So what I will do is I will try to find some other Autobahn when I'm approaching Munich, and then just do some loops just to make sure that I drive as low as possible. I drove 188.4 kilometers. My consumption is 155 watt hours per kilometer. Really nice numbers. 154 right now. 154 watt hours per kilometer. I am at 38% state of charge, and I navigated to somewhere south of Munich just to make sure that I drive down the battery. So it's 47 kilometers to that place. Yeah, so some details that I forgot to mention in the beginning. I get this question very often, almost in every video, which version of Model 3 I have. So this is the standard range plus, and this is without a heat pump. And yeah, so I got it 7 months ago, and so far I drove, let me just check how much did I drive, how many kilometers did I drive. I drove 10,727 kilometers. Yeah, and just recently I switched back to my summer tires, and I have also the Aero wheel covers right now. So that's the configuration more or less. All right, I am driving towards Austria. So I arrived in Munich, and then I just started driving towards south because I had a lot of battery left. So I want to drive it down to at least 5%. So far I drove 231 kilometers. The consumption is 153 watt hours per kilometer. Right now it's 3:40 in the afternoon. So yeah, I'm on this Autobahn with no speed limits. So I'm just driving 130 kilometers per hour. I am not so sure where I'm going to stop. There are a few superchargers, as you can see, like this one is probably not more than 10 kilometers, and then 20 kilometers, and then probably 50 kilometers there is another one. close to Kimse. So yeah, I try to keep an eye on the charge, and then based on that I'll decide where to stop. I am now driving back to Munich. I decided to go to the new V3 charger. It's in a shopping center called Olympia Einkaufszentrum. I drove 252 kilometers so far, and now here the speed limit is 100 kilometers per hour, so I'm just driving a bit slow. I should arrive at the V3 supercharger with 3% charge. Let's see. So I will have to get in the city and maybe drive for 10 to 15 kilometers in the city, slow traffic. So not really high speed, but yeah, that's okay. It's real world test. So as you can see, my average speed is not that high. It's 1553, so exactly 3 hours, and it's less than 90 kilometers per hour. So the reason is that I've had many places where I was driving slowly. There was one accident on the Autobahn, so I had to stop there for, I don't remember how long, maybe 20 minutes or half an hour or whatever. So that's the main reason. But yeah, it's just, as I said, it's just real world test. These kind of things happen, so we have to take them into consideration. Well, the consumption is 150 watt hours per kilometer so far, and I am at 18% state of charge. Let's see how bad it gets. I hope to be in the city with 5%, I guess. I'm trying to drive at 120, or I will try to drive at 120 right now. Yeah. I am at 13% state of charge, and my destination is 33 kilometers away, the V3 supercharger. So what I will do is that I will cancel it. So it's too risky. I might be able to go there, but I just want to have some buffer, because there might be some construction or work or whatever. So if I need to take an alternative route, I might be in trouble if I just aim for that supercharger. So I will now just navigate back to the same charger where I started from, and then summarize the whole trip. Alright, I arrived here with 9%, actually 9.26%, and the total distance is 289.5 kilometers, and the consumption is 147 kilometers. So let's do some calculations and let's calculate the degradation. Okay, let's start with the calculation of the percentage, battery percentage. So we started with 100% and we arrived here with 9.26%. That means we spent around 90.74%, and we were waiting on the highway and spent 0.6%. So we should deduct that minus 0.6%. That is 9.14% we spent just by driving. Now we drove 289.4 or 5, yeah, 289.5 kilometers. And then we have to multiply these by 147, that is the 147 watt hours per kilometer. So this gives us the amount of battery we actually spent driving. So let's copy this, we might need it later on. Yeah, and let's divide it by 0.9014. So this is the amount of battery percentage that we used just by driving. So this should give us the battery capacity that we can pull today, we could pull today. So 47.211, let's say. And when the battery was new, we know that it had 50.2 kilowatt hours. So let's divide that, divide it by 50.2 kilowatt hours. Yeah. So this gives us 94. So I have 6% degradation, this means. Let's now calculate the range. So 289.5, and for this we spent 90.14%. This means 321. So there you have it, 321 kilometers of range in this sort of summer-like conditions. It's spring, but it's still 18 degrees Celsius, so 15 to 20 degrees Celsius, let's say. And driving on the Autobahn, keeping up with the traffic. And for the degradation, I have 6% degradation after 7 months of ownership and driving the car for about 11,000 kilometers, let's say. And I mostly DC charged, as you saw before. So yeah, that's the situation after 7 months of ownership. So that's all for today. If you own a Standard Range Plus and if you did similar tests, please feel free to comment below. What's your battery degradation and what sort of range do you get in these sort of conditions? So that's all for today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and see you in the next one. Bye bye.